The Supreme Personality of Godhead is described as being without beginning. He is Purusha, the Supreme Spirit. Purusha means person. When we think of a person in our present experience, that person has a beginning. This means that he has taken birth and that there is history from the beginning of his life. But Lord is particularly mentioned here as Anadi, beginningless. If we examine all persons, we will find that everyone has a beginning. But when we approach a person who has no beginning, he is the Supreme Person. That is the definition given in the Brahma Samhita. Ishvara Parama Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna, the Supreme Controller. He is without beginning and he is the beginning of everyone. This definition is found in all Vedic literatures. The Lord is described as a soul or spirit. What is the definition of spirit? Spirit is perceivable everywhere. Brahman means great. His greatness is perceived everywhere. And what is that greatness? Consciousness. We have personal experience of consciousness, for it is spread all over the body. In every hair follicle of our body, we can feel consciousness. This is individual consciousness. Similarly, there is super consciousness. The example can be given of a small light and the sunlight. The sunlight is perceived everywhere, even within the atom, even within the room or in the sky, but the small light is experienced within a specific limit. Similarly, our consciousness is perceived within the limit of a particular body, but the super consciousness or the existence of God is perceived everywhere. He is present everywhere by his energy. It is stated in the Vishnu Purana that whatever we find anywhere and everywhere is the distribution of the energy of the Supreme Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita also it is confirmed that the Lord is all-pervading and exists everywhere by his two kinds of energy, one spiritual and other material. Both the spiritual and material energies are spread everywhere, and that is the proof of existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The existence of consciousness everywhere is not temporary. It is without beginning, and because it is without beginning, it is also without end. The theory that consciousness develops at a certain stage of material combination is not accepted herein. For the consciousness which exists everywhere is said to be without beginning. The materialistic or atheistic theory stating that there is no soul, that there is no God, and the consciousness is a result of a combination of matter is not acceptable. Matter is not beginningless, it has a beginning. As this material body has a beginning, the universal body does also. And as a material body has begun on the basis of our soul, the entire gigantic universal body has begun on the basis of the Supreme Soul. The Vedanta Sutra says, Janmadi Assa. This entire material exhibition, its creation, its growth, its maintenance, and its dissolution is an emanation from the Supreme Person. In the Bhagavad Gita also the Lord says, I am the beginning, the source of birth of everything. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is described here. He is not a temporary person, nor does he has a beginning. He is without a cause, and he is the cause of all causes. Para means transcendental, beyond the creative energy. The Lord is the creator of the creative energy. We can see that there is a creative energy in the material world, but he is not under this energy. He is Prakriti Paraha, beyond this energy. He is not subjected to the threefold miseries created by the material energy, but he is beyond it. The modes of material nature do not touch him. It is explained here, Swayam Jyoti, he is light himself. We have experience in the material world of one's light being a reflection of another, just as moonlight is a reflection of the sunlight. Sunlight is also a reflection of the Brahma Jyoti. Similarly, Brahma Jyoti, the spiritual effulgence, is a reflection of the body of the Supreme Lord. This is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita, Yasya Prabha Prabhavataha. The Brahma Jyoti or Brahman effulgence is due to this bodily luster. Therefore, it is said here, Swayam Jyotihi. He himself is light. His light is distributed in different ways, as the Brahma Jyoti, as sunlight, and as moonlight. Bhagavad Gita confirms that in the spiritual world there is no need of sunlight, moonlight, or electricity. The Upanishads also confirm this because the bodily luster of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is sufficient to illuminate the spiritual world. There is no need of sunlight, moonlight, or any other light or electricity. This self-illumination also contradicts the theory that spirit soul or the spiritual consciousness develop at a certain point in material combination. The term Swayam Jyoti indicates that there is no tinge of anything material or any material reaction. It is confirmed here that the concept of the Lord's all-pervasiveness is due to His illumination everywhere. We have experienced that sun is situated in one place, but the sunlight is diffused all around for millions and millions of miles. That is our practical experience. Similarly, although the supreme light is situated in the personal abode, Vaikuntha or Vrindavan, His light is diffused not only in the spiritual world but beyond that. In the material world also, that light is reflected by the sun globe, and the sunlight is reflected by the moon globe. Thus, although he is situated in his own abode, his light is distributed all over the spiritual and material worlds. The Brahma Samhita 5.37 confirms this. Goloka eva nivasati akhilatma bhutaha. He is living in Goloka, but he is present all over the creation. He is the super soul of everything, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he has innumerable transcendental qualities. It is also concluded that although he is undoubtedly a person, he is not a Purusha of this material world. Mayavadi philosophers cannot understand that beyond this material world there can be a person. Therefore, they are impersonalist. But it is explained very nicely here that the personality of Godhead is beyond material existence. So here in this verse it's mentioned, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Supreme Soul and He has no beginning. Prabhupada in the purport mentions that when we think of a person in our present experience, we interact with so many people, we come across so many people. The person has a beginning. It's very evident. We celebrate birthdays, and many times in newspapers we see obituary, person so-and-so expired. The person has taken birth and there is history from beginning of his life. But the Lord, although He is a person, He is a Purusha, He is not like mundane persons whom we interact in this material world. He is particularly mentioned here as Anadi, beginningless. This is what even Brahma Samhita says, Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Everything has a cause, but the Lord is Sarva Karana Karanam, is the cause of all causes. When there was nothing, He was there. Sometimes people find it difficult to comprehend, and a very commonly asked question, generally when you address somebody who is totally new to Krishna consciousness, who created God? Okay, we can understand that God created everything, but who created God? It's like that chicken and egg story. Chicken comes from egg, and as it grows up, the hen gives egg. So what came first? People are perplexed. So one of the definition or understanding of God is He is Anadi. He is not an ordinary mundane person. Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. He is without beginning and is without an end, and He is the beginning of everyone. So everything what we see in this creation has come from Him. Although He is without beginning, but He is the beginning of everyone. So then further Prabhupada mentions that Although the Lord is a person, He is present everywhere. He is perceivable everywhere because He is self-effulgent. This is again very difficult for many people to comprehend, because all along we have an understanding of a person who is limited in time and space. If you see a person in a particular place, you can very confidently conclude that he is not in another place. But here it is said that the Lord is all-pervading. If He is a person, how can He be all-pervading? Because all persons whom we have seen are limited by time and space. If they are present in place A, they cannot be simultaneously present in place B. So here it is said that the Lord is present everywhere by His energies. The entire creation is pervaded by the Lord. In fact, there is nothing but the Lord and His energies. Energies, broadly speaking, material energy and spiritual energy. The Lord is present anywhere and everywhere, and He is present through the distribution of energy. In the Bhagavad Gita also it is confirmed that the Lord is all-pervading and exists everywhere by two kinds of energy, one material and other spiritual. Both material and spiritual energies are spread everywhere, and that is the proof of existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in the material world, we living entities who have rebelled against the Lord are under the influence of material energy. And this material energy, Krishna says, Devi Esha Gunamayi Mama Maya Dhuratya. This Maya, or material energy, which is composed of three modes of material nature, very binds the living entity, entangles the living entity, and that knot is very, very stringent. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha. We helplessly act under the influence of the modes of material nature which is influencing us. Just like we see typically a rope made of three strands intertwined. So likewise, these three gunas, the influence of these three gunas act like a rope which binds the living entity. If we see any printed picture, we see books with color plates, we see calendars, see posters, magazines, brochures, all very colorful these days. Printing technology has advanced. There was a time when a lot of things were done black and white. It was very expensive to print in color. But these days we see a lot of colorful prints. Actually, if you go to a printer, all these colorful prints, all these beautiful calendars, all colorful posters, they are just made of, anyone has an idea? How many colors? 4 colors. CMYK, cyan, magenta, black and yellow. If we closely see that's why we call it DPI, dots per inch. Higher the DPI, you will not be able to see the dots. It's so close, so densely packed. And different colors are produced by the different size of dots and how densely they are close to each other. If you see a picture which is by and large reddish in color, you'll have more of magenta dots and densely populated. If you see Radha Krishna calendar and if you see dress of Radharani, it's yellow in color. If you closely see with a very powerful lens, you will see it's made of yellow dots And if you see orange, it is combination of yellow and magenta dots. And human eye cannot perceive it. So just like we have unlimited shades possible by combination of 3 colors, 4 colors, likewise unlimited combinations of behaviors, perspective of life, consciousness is possible by the influence of these 3 modes of material nature. And we helplessly act under the influence of these modes. We see many times our behavior changes as we advance spiritually. Many times our perspective of life changes. Our understanding of world changes. It is because of the modes which are influencing is changing. If we are in tamoguna predominantly, we'll have one perspective of life. We'll have a particular kind of behavior. In general, we will be lazy. We will be clouded with different kinds of ignorance. As we rise in the modes, in Rajoguna, in Tamoguna, in Sattva-guna, our perspective changes. That's why a symptom of Sattva-guna is enlightenment, is knowledge. Just like it is example is given, if you take an alkali, we have all studied in chemistry, alkali and acid. If you take an alkali and you combine with another alkali, there is no reaction. You take a powerful acid and combine with another acid, there is no reaction. You take an alkali and an acid, you mix together, there is a powerful reaction. Likewise, a person who is influenced by tamoguna, if he goes to a tamasic place, will he feel out of place? No. He is comfortable. There is no reaction. If you take a person who is predominantly in Sattva-guna, you take him to a place where Tamoguna is predominant, he'll feel very uncomfortable. He'll feel like, let me just get away from this place as early as possible. See, different behaviors are all nothing but the combination of modes which are influencing us. Prabhupada used to say, birds of same feather flock together. Swans, you will find them in very clear water bodies, nice landscapes, lakes. They feel very comfortable there. But you will not find many crows there in that place. Crows are more comfortable where there is filth, where there is some kind of a garbage, where there is some kind of dead corpse. So they enjoy that. Likewise, in this material world also, we see people have different inclinations, different behaviors. They're comfortable with different things. Some people are very comfortable with where there's dirt all around. Some people don't take bath for days together. They're comfortable with that. Can you see how the modes of material nature which influence us, conditions us, binds us, and makes us behave in a particular way? In Mumbai, we have a place where fruits are available near IIT Market. And we have to pass through a place where they also sell, it's called fish market. And it smells so bad, so bad. Most of us cannot pass through that place. So whenever we have to go to buy fruits, we take an additional half a kilometer detour and reach that place. And whenever we are going, we sometimes talk among ourselves, how do people tolerate this smell? But if you see there, some people are very, very comfortable there, nicely living there, because they've got conditioned. The modes influencing them has conditioned them, and that has become a new normal for them. So a person who is in Sattva Guna, who is influenced by spiritual energy, he'll feel very, very uncomfortable where material energy is very predominant. Prabhupada gave an example that when they were in Burma, devotees went there for preaching. So there was a delicacy in Burma, it's called Nafi. Some of you would have heard about it. So what these people do is when they cook some non-veg in their house, so invariably there will be something left over. Some bones, some kind of left, which cannot be cooked, probably cannot be consumed. So they'll put all that in a jar. And that jar was left one place in the house for days together, for months together. And every time you keep on adding something which is left over of a non-veg food. Because that food rots for days together, months together, it ferments and it produces some kind of a liquid. And on special occasions, on festival days, they stain that liquid and they share with each other, and that delicacy is called Nafi. So when devotees heard that, they were completely, how can people eat like this? And one day it so happened there was Sunday feast and they were cooking puris made of pure ghee. And this neighbor started complaining, what kind of smell is this? It was intolerable ghee. As if, So that's the meaning of how the modes influence us. A person who is in Tamoguna, when something Sattva Guna is done, he'll feel uncomfortable. A person who is in Sattva Guna, where something tamasic is happening, he'll feel uncomfortable. Tamoguna, no reaction. So from this also we can understand that if we are in a place which is predominated by Tamoguna and we don't feel uncomfortable, that means we are in Tamoguna. Two days, assuming somebody is not taken bath, he is very comfortable with that, he has not changed his dress, worn a jeans for 7 days without washing. Typically in hostels they save water. Washing happens once in a month. So these are all symptoms of Tamoguna. So this material energy, which is comprised of these three modes, which binds the living entity, which forces him to act in a particular way, three guna, which Krishna talks about, Daivi Esha Gunamai, Mama Maya Dhuratteya. And the best part is the living entity is unaware that he is under the influence of these modes. Forget about getting out of it. Here the Lord is mentioned as transcendental to the material modes, his Shuddha Sattva. So when we touch the Lord, when we come in contact with the Lord, when we chant the names of the Lord, when we touch that supreme personality of Godhead who is supremely pure, who is transcendental to the material modes, we also gradually elevate in the modes and transcend the modes. The example is given just like you take an iron rod, put it in fire, it becomes hot. Keep it in fire, it becomes warmer. And a time comes, it becomes red hot. It acts like fire. So likewise, the Lord who is all spiritual, when we who are under the influence of material energy come in contact with the Lord by the process which is prescribed by the Acharyas, we slowly come out of the modes of material nature. We transcend the modes and come to Shuddha Sattva. But unfortunately, because we are conditioned, there is a natural inclination for us to fall back. Material energy is very lucrative for us. It's very tempting for us. The allurements, sense objects, it's very alluring, which pulls us down, pulls our consciousness down. So that's why genuine spirituality involves on one side some do's like chanting, reading, hearing, participating in kirtans which elevates our consciousness, and some don'ts which generally pulls the consciousness down. And this material energy which binds the living entity, actually Prabhupada here mentions the living entity which is under the influence of these modes of material nature is battered by this material energy by three kinds of kleshas. Actually battered. We have three kleshas: adhyatmic kleshas, adidevi kleshas, adibhautik kleshas. Miseries due to our body and mind, miseries due to other living entities, and miseries due to natural calamities. And in spite of being battered by the material modes, Devi Esha Gunamai Mama Maya Dhuratya. Dhuratya means it is very difficult for the living entity, struggling. But because we are under the influence of lower modes, we are not able to comprehend that. We still are too eager to exert our supremacy that yes, I am in control. I don't need the Lord. I can manage my life on my own. I can maintain an existence independent of the Lord. Whereas Krishna says, Mama Maya Dhuratya Mam Eva Ye Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. If you surrender to me, these modes of material nature which are working under my direction, under my supervision, it is my energy, I will relieve you from these modes. One time there was a lion in the jungle, so generally said to be the king. So he wanted to just reinforce his supremacy as being the king of the jungle. So one day he happened to see a monkey in the jungle, so he went to the monkey and said, "Hey monkey!" So the monkey got shaken, growling. The lion said, "Hey monkey!" He says, "Who is the king of the jungle?" So in a very shaky voice, in a timid voice, the monkey, you sir, you are the king." So he was quite happy with that answer and said, "Don't you forget that." So then he started walking away. There he saw a zebra. So again he wanted to double check, reinforce his supremacy. He said, "Hey zebra." This time he roared and he said, "Who is the king of the jungle?" So zebra again with fear, body shaking, he says, "You sir, you are the king of the jungle." He says, "Don't you forget that." Kept moving. And then he came across an elephant, huge, gigantic elephant. So again, as usual, roared and growled. He says, "Hey elephant, who is the king of the jungle?" So elephant didn't reply. He took him in the trunk and threw him against the tree. In comics you come across, when person gets this thing, he sees stars and all this. So, he got smashed against a tree. Then this elephant walked towards this lion, stepped on his tail, again picked him up and smashed him on the ground and started walking away. So the lion got up and he said, "Why are you getting angry if you don't know the right answer?" After having got smashed also, he is not willing to give up the idea that he is not the king of the jungle. If we are in Tamoguna, if we are not blessed with Divya Gyan, if we don't have transcendental knowledge, when the material energy batters a living entity, is not willing to give up that I am subordinate to the Supreme Lord. The Lord is supreme. I am Amsha. I am a small Amsha of the Lord. That's why Krishna says, Devi Esha Gunamai Mama Maya Dhurutteya. And he also says, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Gyanvan Mam Prapadyante Vasudevam Sarvamiti Samahatma Durlabha. That living entity, after after getting battered, we learn some things. A person who has some sense will learn from something. Although we are third class intelligent, we don't even learn sometimes. This material energy is designed in such a way so that even the difficulties, even the kleshas, it is all sanctioned by the Lord for our benefit. Just like sometime doctor gives an injection, sometime doctor may prescribe a diet which is bitter. That's why Krishna says, Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam, I am the well-wisher of all living entities. So if we are blessed with Divya Gyan, if we have a mercy of a pure devotee of the Lord, then even when we go through some kleshas, it's a very big learning for us. Miseries can teach us many lessons which otherwise we don't learn. That's why in this material world, we many times are complacent, we have relationships, we think these relationships are permanent, but they come to an end. The Lord wants to teach us that this is a temporary place. It's not a place where we can permanently settle down peacefully. Parastasmatu bhavanyo vyakta avyakta sanatan. There's another world, and He's inviting us to that world, which is permanent, which is eternal. He's supreme there. So this modes of material nature which is binding the living entity, which is like the ropes, it is said that in this material world, just like in a prison house, this material world is also compared to a prison house. In a prison house, you have a jail superintendent. Likewise, the Lord's representative, Durga Devi, is in charge of this material world, which is also called Durg. Durg means fort. Just like a person who is imprisoned in a fort, he cannot cross the walls, he cannot come out of the prison easily. Durga Devi, it is said that she has 10 hands. The 10 hands represent the 10 directions. North, east, south, west, northeast, southeast, southwest, northwest. Top and bottom. Imagine we are in a room which has 10 CCTV cameras. Top, all 4 directions, top, down. Can we do something which a person who is monitoring the CCTV cameras, we can avoid him being aware of? No. If it is one CCTV camera, maybe you can take a particular position and you can still not be visible in that camera. So likewise, that's why Krishna says, Devi Esha Gunamai Mama Maya Dhuratya. We are in the clutches of this material energy. And the Lord, who is the creator of this material world, He is the supreme controller. He is the cause of all causes. He is the supreme cause, the super soul of everything. When we surrender unto Him, then He relieves us from the influence of these modes, this material energy. So we should have a context of what we are doing. Many times when we chant, when we do our sadhana, when we do our reading, we should know what are we doing. Like yesterday we heard in a class, it's energy management. There's material energy, there is spiritual energy. And we are called the marginal energy. Sometimes we are predominantly under the influence of material energy, sometimes under the influence of spiritual energy. So when we chant, when we engage in spiritual activities, we invite the spiritual energy to act on us. We come under the influence of spiritual energy. And under the influence of spiritual energy, we elevate in the modes and transcend the modes. Traigunya Vishaya Veja, Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna. Try to transcend the modes. And when we transcend the modes, then the living entity who is Sat Chit Ananda, who is eternal, Chit, knowledgeable, Ananda, blissful, he realizes his true constitutional position. He achieves what he is hankering, what is desiring, what is longing to achieve, and that is pure, transcendental, eternal happiness in association with the Lord. We'll stop here. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.